All right, today we're on a Nautilus HILo station. That silver rod right there is the weight stick selector rod. Uh, your complaint will be lock and loads won't go in smoothly. You might have to lift the cable, pull on the cable a little bit to lift it up just a quarter of an inch so the lock and loads go in. Basically means that selector rod is not aligned up or down correctly. Easy things you can do to figure this out. Turn all your lock and loads to the off position, grab on the cable, and physically grab that selector rod. If there's movement in it, you need to tighten it down. If you look up where the selector rod attaches to the bottom side of the top plate and there's a little bit of a gap, that also means you need to tighten it up. It's very important that you keep those holes right there on the selector rod facing where the lock and load shaft goes in, or basically straight to the front. Things that might cause it also to be misaligned is, trash on top of that top plate that you see how it's nice and smooth, nothing on there. Sometimes there's paper towels, bottle caps, whatever. Also look on the bottom side of the top plate that's up in the air. You can't see it right now. Check that for any sort of like paper towels that get stuck there. If you look at the weight stacks in the back, they're all really nice and smooth. That means that nothing's obstructing it and the lock and load should work good. All right, let's get to working on this one. All right. Right here I'm showing an Allen wrench. You can stick it in the holes to make sure it's aligned properly. If those selector holes are off left to right, you simply would just stick an Allen wrench, a screwdriver, and rotate it to either left or the right so they face directly in the front. And that's the little lock and load pin. As you can see right now, it's just a little high, so I'll lower it a little bit. There you go. I'm just showing how different ways that you can turn it left or right. But that's not the problem today. They are all centered. Up there's where there should be no gap. See, that's a good one. There's no gap right there. It is fully seated. So this one wasn't broken. I'm just kind of showing how to do it. And as you see, I got an elevator right now with a lock and load switch. So take tension off, lower it back down. And now that bolt right there, it's a 16 millimeter on one side, and the other side is an Allen wrench. I believe it was a 5 or 6 millimeter, can't remember, but sometimes the manufacturer uses just a regular bolt on both sides. So just checking right now, 16 millimeter. Using hand tools only today to show that it can be done quickly. Takes about 10 minutes with hand tools. So if you happen to have Allen wrenches that attach to a 3/8 socket like I have, this job goes by so much quicker. All right, all we're doing is loosening the bolt. Feel free to skip ahead if you've ever taken out a bolt. Unscrewing the nut. Keep a track of that left plastic piece. There's a washer in it. Don't want to lose it. Also it's not a perfect circle. It's cut flat, so make sure you install it that way. We're going to pull out the top pulley to get the cable out of our way. Set the pulley on the ground. I just loop the cable around. There's a little part on the frame that attaches to. These are 2 Allen bolts, 8 millimeters. One in the front, one in the back. That's the preferred ways to come through the top. Sometimes if you get lucky, you can go through. So yeah, it looks like an 8 millimeter. Sometimes you can work it through there to break it free. I don't have any good luck today with that. But I would just go through the top as I show you here shortly. Boom, go this way first. There you go. These things are usually super tight your first time cracking them open, so I just grab a little wrench for some leverage. Doesn't have to be a ratcheting, just a circle on the back. Closed end wrench. This gives you the leverage. And just break it free. Boom. Then I'm going to go to the other side. It doesn't have to be a special wrench. You just need anything to grab the top of that. I've used deep wall sockets before. You can use any closed end wrench. And then from this point, you're just going to unscrew both of them. Feel free to skip ahead because it takes me a while to unscrew this. As you get to the end, lift up on that pulley frame piece and it holds your bolts for you nicely. There you go. And as you can see, there's a silver nylon nut under there. Trying to get a better angle. That's what we're tightening. It is a 24 millimeter or a 15/16 socket. Both work just fine. The next few seconds is me verifying that it is 24 millimeter or 15/16, so you can skip ahead. All right. This I'm trying to break it free to kind of show you what to expect, but it was so dang tight, so I just forego that. It's rare that they do. I don't want to say it's rare. If your clientele at your gym beat the crap out of it, you'll be doing this kind of often. This gym's good, so I had to lift up a little bit, so I just grabbed by that bushing right there and just lift it up. Little trick is set a couple of those lock and loads in there. That keeps the orientation pretty straight, because if we did just go to tighten the nut, those holes would shift left or right. I also, as I'm tightening it, will use the Allen wrench to hold it so the weight selector rod holes are facing front, facing the lock and load pins. So right now, I got several lock and load pins engaged, and I'm also going to put pressure. As you can see, I'm pushing pressure to the right of the screen while I'm going to be tightening that down. But this thing's super tight, so this is kind of just for show. If you have a loose one, that weight selector rod will spin on you, so you have to hold it to the front and true. So you just tighten down that nut, and that's it. Then we're going to go ahead and reassemble. So you just grab the pulley frame. I like to hover it a little bit and just start the bolts right there. See how I keep it hovered? That way you're not fumbling around. My arm's in the way. I'm sorry about that. So just get them started, and then you can finish them. If you want to skip ahead, once I tighten down these, I grab the pulley and put the cable around the pulley first, and then set it back in there, put the bolt through, call this job done. But you want to make sure when you put the cable in, it's not twisted. So it would, if you have if you twist the cables, it's just not going to work right. It should be obvious, but in today's world, nothing's obvious. Grab the cable, put it on the pulley, look up to make sure it's not twisted. They come straight down as the manufacturer designed. And then we throw on the bolt. Make sure the flat side of the plastic is facing down. This one's kind of sticky, Sometimes they come out easily, sometimes they don't. Might have to smack it on the top side of the pulley to make sure the hole of the pulley lines up with the hole of the pulley frame. Slide this in. Put the plastic a little closer than I did, that way we don't fumble around with the plastic in that silver part right there. Send it through, grab the other side, make sure the washer's there. Flat part of the plastic to the bottom, tighten up the bolt, and then this job is done. 10 minutes, hand tools only.